gorgeous out. Let's pop some ducks.
This is the Upduck Podcast, a blend of upland and waterfowl hunting. Tune in as your hosts, Tyler Beaton, Jeff Ludicky, Matt Jeske, chat about training dogs and share their bird hunting stories, tactics, and strategies.
Bing, hey.
Did it bing?
You're binging, yeah.
I was saying my watch keeps thinking that I want to go golfing. There's something wrong with my Garmin watch, and it like keeps pulling up the golf app, and it searches for courses, and it's doing the whole thing.
You're 90 yards away.
Yeah. Not golfing, but it wants me to.
Yeah.
So.
Matt, Jeff, what's happening tonight, fellas?
Doing good. I got a lot of packing to do for this weekend, so I've barely scratched the surface getting everything ready. So after this podcast and tomorrow night, it'll be packing time.
Packing for?
I'm going up north this weekend.
For
grouse hunting
is.
And duck hunting. So I got to pack enough gear to do both activities, which turns out to be a hell of a lot of shit when you got the dog, the duck decoys, all the upland stuff, just everything. So, but it should be a good time. It's one of those duck hunt early in the morning, grouse hunt late in the morning, early afternoon. Yeah. And just scout around a little bit. It's usually a good time. So
that's great. That sounds awesome.
Excited.
Matt Jeske, are there any more birds down by you?
Negative. Not good.
The coots showed up down here. I don't know if you guys saw that video.
I did.
There's about 2,000 coots on Pewaukee Lake right now.
Oh, awesome.
Just crazy.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Divers shouldn't be playing ahead. Okay, well, so Matt, you're not going hunting anytime soon then, huh?
No, that's a lie. I'm going out tomorrow morning real quick before work.
Okay. Nice. Excellent.
You don't know if they came in. Yeah. You don't know if they came in yet if you don't go out. So.
That's fair.
Can't shoot them from the couch.
That's right.
That's true. Okay. All right. I'm on the DL here. It's a good thing we're in the split in southern zone of Wisconsin because I would not be hunting this week, that's for sure. Very much under the weather. But enough of that. We'll do another episode and talk about some hunting recap stuff. Let's bring in our guest. Returning guest, social media influencer, podcast legend, dog training extraordinaire, Mr. Bob Owens.
I'm really embarrassed you said I was an influencer. That's so gross.
Yeah, don't use that word, Tyler.
Feels dirty.
Yeah, feels dirty.
It is dirty.
I did start an OnlyFans account though.
Let's
go.
I love that.
Selling used bumpers on there.
Nice.
There you go.
Dirty used bumpers.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this.
Pay twice as much for my dirty used bumpers. Well, thanks for having me back, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Influencers, there's a negative connotation, but it doesn't mean a bad thing. It's a good thing. In this case.
It's just wicked weird.
It is. I mean, but so I mean, in all fairness though, right? There's a lot of people who want to be dog trainers on social media. I see their accounts all the time. People send me stuff. But it's hard. Like, I think you do it the right way. So it's really a compliment.
Well, I appreciate it.
That's a good way to put that, Tyler. There's people that want to be, and then there's wannabes. You got a little bit of both going on there.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So, Anyway, we're excited to have you back on. For anybody who is super hunting focused and doesn't know who Lone Duck Outfitters is, who doesn't know who Uncle Bob is, just give us a quick background.
Yeah, I'm a professional retriever trainer. I'm from Central New York. We spend our winters down south in South Carolina to get out of the snow and keep training and competing with the retrievers. That is my main focus, but as Jeff said, he's going grouse hunting. That's also a major hobby and passion of mine is my 2 English setters and grouse hunting with them. But I make my living training duck dogs and competing in AKC hunt tests and field trials. I enjoy it. I love it. And then the other passion is coaching people, education and entertainment. Teach them how to do it themselves so that they and their dog can become better for this duck season.
Beautiful. Well said. You also duck hunt as well, though, correct?
When I can. Yeah.
Okay, good. There's so much to unpack there. I think that's the direction that we want to go with it. So,
Sounds
as far as to back up though, right? Right, you train dogs during the summer. How many dogs do you have now? Right, it's mid-October. Like, how many dogs are you training and all like juggling the training and then also trying to sneak out and hunt?
Yeah. So I would say on average, like when I go south, my max is 22. I've got an 18-hole trailer, 2 in the bed of the truck, and then 2 in the back seat. So when, for a few months out of the year, we just take that number of dogs. When I get home in April, that's when we ramp up. So we'll get into the 30 to 35 kind of number range, and we'll keep that until about now. We have a kind of an upswing. So I think we were close to 40 from like August through September to get those dogs that I have trained and get them back up to speed, back in shape, steady them up, work on obedience, just kind of dial their blinds back in wherever they were in training. Then when they left, let's tighten them back up so that their owners are happy this duck season. So we get busier August and September, and then hunt tests and trials are all like, I'm done. There are still some I could go to, but I am done traveling. It is my time to shine now. And so from, let's just say October 1st until January 1st, I am training dogs, but I am trying to enjoy life too.
Okay.
Because I mean, let's be honest, everybody's going to be like, well, enjoy life. You're a dog trainer. Well, do you play with dogs all day? It's like, yeah, but I have worked a ton and traveled them and gone on weekends since July, just seminars. I've been gone a lot. And so I try and really slow down. We're probably at 20 dogs, 22 dogs right now. And that's where I'll stay until Christmas time. And then everybody goes home at Christmas, and I'll have literally only, maybe a month of no client dogs, just my own personal dogs, and everybody's gone. And then when we go south, they all come back.
How many personal dogs do you own right now?
I just did the math the other day for somebody. I own 7, I think.
Including the setters.
Including the setters. I co-own 3 dogs that I don't include in that number.
Okay.
So 7 plus 3.
Okay.
Technically.
10 dogs or so.
Yeah, 10
I
dogs.
think. Yeah,
Not
10.
a math guy,
10.
dude. Not a math guy. Yeah. Some of them are breeding females. So I own one in Texas that is retired from breeding and competing, and she lives with my buddy Peter, who's a veterinarian in Texas, and he hunts his butt off from North Dakota to Texas to Nebraska and anywhere in between. So she has an amazing life, sleeps with his kid, and we've had a few litters from her. And once she was an HRCH and a master hunter, and then he's looking for a dog. I'm like, well, if you want, you can take Sam. I just want to maintain breeding rights. And so I've hunted over her with him a few times. And I mean, it's just a great relationship there. And then I retired a dog named Cruz, who is a master hunter, passed the master national. And she is the first dog I actually truly co-owned with my clients in Charleston that are like my family. And so she's their main duck dog. And when she was done competing, she pretty much lives with them full time, and I see her when I go south and get to hunt with her a few times. But she was like the flagship mama bear of my breeding program. Like, she had 12 puppies, 10 puppies, 12 puppies.
Wow.
And I've gotten to train a ton of them, and all of them were really, really good dogs. Really good
awesome.
dog. Yeah, she's a cool dog. She's still kicking, doing great. And then there's a third one that I don't even remember right now. I'm sorry to be drawing a blank.
That's okay. That's right. I want to go a completely separate direction. So
yeah,
right. You train labs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you own a bunch of labs.
Yep.
But then you have 2 setters.
Yeah.
How did you switch gears and get into setters?
So back in the day, when anybody who's a dog trainer is getting into it, I have said it in the past. If the check clears, I'll train it. You know, if it's border collie that needs obedience, I'd take the check. If it was a golden doodle who pulls on the leash, I'd train it. If it was a German short-haired pointer, I would train it. And I did have enough to be dangerous learning pointing dogs in my experience, but I was very honest in the beginning, like, hey, you know, one of them was a good buddy of mine. Like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing with this thing. Like, so I got homing pigeons. I learned and I got better at it, and I put a prize one NAVDA title on that dog. And then it kind of just fell into my lap. Did a couple setters, whatever. Really enjoyed them. And at that time in my career, I probably only had 12 dogs in training. So to maybe do 4 pointing dogs and 8 or 10 labs was not that difficult to like flip the switch and do a couple hours of bird dog work, and the rest of the day was retrievers. And honestly, most of those dogs I trained how to retrieve as well. So those short hairs were doing 150-yard marks and all that jazz. And so I went on a couple grouse hunts, and I just fell in love with it. I'd never done it before, never even seen a grouse before. I had a mentor who really wasn't my mentor. He was my dad's mentor. And when I was a little boy, like some early memories, we'd go and visit them in Florida, and they'd like make us lemonade, and we'd sit on the carpet while dad and him are catching up. And he had English pointer paintings all over his like man cave. And he gave me a, you know, encyclopedia of dog from the 1950s. I could read it cover to cover, could name every dog in there. And I just always looked up to him, but he was a pointer guy, horseback field trial guy. And so long story short, I had trained a few setters and really enjoyed them. And I was like, man, maybe I'll get a setter and like try this grouse hunting thing. So a mutual friend told me about this guy's name, old timer, middle of nowhere, New York. Call him. So I call him up, and he goes, where are you from, Bobby? Nah, he didn't know who I am. He just started calling me Bobby. I'm like, I'm from Baldwinsville, New York. And he goes, Baldwinsville? I used to field trial my setters in Baldwinsville. And I go, would you know E.B. Hendrick? And he goes, E.B.? When he moved to Florida, he sold me all his bird dog training gear. I'm like, oh shit. So E.B. was the guy I sat on the carpet. But anywho, so I go up there to meet him. I bought a 6-month-old, quote unquote, started English setter. She didn't know jack. And that was where it began. That's how I got Andy. She's been amazing. Best grouse dog I've ever hunted with. Very smooth in the woods. You know how, I don't know the couth way of putting it, but she doesn't blow through the woods fast and like burn all her energy in the first 30 minutes. Very methodical, like even paced, so she can go all day. And just a grouse finding machine. She didn't start that way, obviously, but when the light bulb clicked, she knows how to find them, work them, keep them, hold them, and I can kill them. I kept a puppy out of her litter last year. So Jessie is almost a year and a half. This is technically her second season. Last year was just frolicking in the woods, good with gunfire, came when she was called, sort of pointed pigeons in my field, and had some grouse contacts, but no light bulbs went off. And this year I've hunted her, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 times, and that light bulb still hasn't gone off, but we got a long year ahead of us, and I plan on hunting her a lot.
Now, I know you spent some time in Wisconsin, I think it was last year, right? Doing some grouse hunting, I think I saw from your Instagram account.
Yeah.
Now, how does that differ? How does it compare to grouse hunting in New York? Is there a lot of similarities there?
That's a good question. There are some similarities, and that to me, like, is the fun of grouse hunting. So I've hunted New York, I've hunted Maine, the UP, and then Wisconsin and Minnesota. But the Wisconsin one, I had no rhyme or reason to go there. Other than I wanted to try it, right? I had no idea what the cover's like. I had no insight. I just did e-scouting with Onyx and like tried it. And so you're looking for covers that remind me of home, and it's sort of the same, but yours does look different. And where I found them was semi-different. Like you're looking for cuts, young growth forest, you're looking for streams, you're looking for pine, small, short pine next to cuts, and it's similar, but I did find them in Wisconsin in different places than I would have thought I found them. And same with Maine. I found grouse in Maine in stands that I would never have hunted in New York, and I found them there. So Maine was more different than Wisconsin, I would say.
Interesting.
But yeah, Wisconsin was cool, man. What a beautiful state. And I would definitely hammer down on some of those spotted cows too.
That's for sure.
May or may not have dabbled.
That's awesome. Now, for those of you that don't know, we're talking about ruffed grouse, right? For all the listeners that might not know, there's different types of grouse. Ruffed grouse is what we're talking about. Now, are the mannerisms of the birds similar between the two different areas, or do you find they hold better in different states, or what was your experience there?
That's another good question. I don't really remember, which is a sad thing to say. I feel like what I remember Wisconsin and Minnesota being as like they were unmolested. Like they didn't have as much sense to them like they do here. Like New York is a good place to grouse hunt, but it's not as vast as Wisconsin and Minnesota with how much woods you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it looks big here in New York on a map, where they're actually concentrated and where you find them becomes known by more people. So they're getting pressured. So they're a little more flighty, maybe a little more likely to run and then flush out of range. Where I got some really good shots. Oh, I have hunted Idaho too for grouse. Those ones were dumb. And those ones were in like real wide open, like perfect shooting lanes. Like, yeah, it was cool. But Wisconsin, it was like real thick, still a lot of leaves on the trees. So that made difficult shooting, but they did hold tighter. Minnesota, I got to hunt with Nick Larson from the Birdshot podcast. And that dude knows grouse better than anybody I've ever hunted with. And his dog knows grouse better than any dog I'd ever hunted with. And that was something to see. The habitat knowledge he had, his way he worked through the woods and planned his route. And it was like a place he'd never been, but he's like, all right, if we hold this and the sun's over here and I see some of this dingleberry bush, yeah, I mean, it would sure shoot that dude. There's a grouse right there. And boom, his dog was on it. I mean, just really, really great work from Nick and his dog. So that was pretty special. But again, very vast forest that I don't think those grouse had ever seen a bird dog, and therefore held nice for them. And we could get in there and work the bird intelligently and flush it in a place where we got offered opportunities to shoot it.
No, that's awesome. I don't want to take the conversation all about grouse here, but I'm pretty jacked up for this weekend. So I had to ask some questions about them.
Yeah.
It's such a cool bird to chase. Like, this will only be my third year chasing grouse. For upland birds, it was primarily always pheasants, but man, it's starting to get its hooks in me, and it is a great time. Something that I think every hunter should at least experience once for sure.
Yeah. And I think grouse get a bad name too. When you hear them like pheasants are called ditch chickens, but people will hunt road birds in Maine and just shoot them with a 22 or a shotgun out of their truck. That gives these birds such a disservice to even think about doing that, or shoot them out of, flush them up into a tree and shoot them out of a tree. Like, get out. Like, they are such an elusive sort of, they're probably not intelligent, but they know how to stay alive. They're dodging hawks. Since they're babies, right? And so the way they can put trees in between you and your shot, they're just a ridiculously great bird. And the way I equate it to people when they ask me, like, how was your grouse hunt? It's like, well, how many did you get? It's like, we got one and we hiked all day. But if you hear 15 flushes, you might see 6 or 7. Of those 6 or 7, you might shoot at 2. And if you get one, you're the man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just, I hunted 2.5 days last week. Just got out of town, rented a little baby cabin, and stayed in our woods up here. And I killed one, and I think I pulled the trigger 3 times. And we flushed.
That's pretty good, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. No big deal. But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
but I didn't, and we had a bunch of flushes and we had some points. Like I saw a shadow fly through the woods, and you got to get lead in the air to kill them, but they're a tough, elusive bird. And when you get one, like I said, you are the man.
Oh, it's such a good feeling. It really is.
Yeah.
Just one bird, you're just like, holy shit, this entire day
Is made.
Yeah. Like, that was just amazing.
Yeah. I spent 2.5 days walking miles and I killed a bird.
Yeah. It's like you're holding up a unicorn, it's just like, look at this freaking thing. I got one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. And when your dog works it right too, I love killing them, but when your dog sticks a point and the bird holds, even if you don't get it, that's an unbelievable feeling as well. Because they are so, like, a dog can pressure them and put them up. Even the most seasoned, great grouse dog, they're just finicky. And that's when it all works out and you see it all happen in front of you. Dude, that's the real deal.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah. Jeff, you don't have to apologize on this. You can talk about grouse all you want.
It's getting me jacked.
That's
It
right.
is.
Tomorrow, boys. I'm going to
Hell yeah.
Your setters though, Bob. So when you train them, so like right, the pointer world, right there, there's force fetch or not force fetch. Like, did you force fetch your setters? Did you do it early? Did you wait a year? Like, how did you go about that piece? Because we've had a couple of people on, like pointer people, and they're like, hey, I don't force fetch my dogs at all. And I've heard the other theory of, hey, you don't do it for the first year, let them build their bird drive up, and then do it when they're like, 1.5, 2 years old after they've had a season under their belts. Like, where do you stand on that?
It aligns on what your goals are. So I don't it's a good question. So, like, I've trained a bunch of NABDA dogs, right? If the check cleared, I trained it. I treated them like a Labrador. I built retrieve drive. I got them swimming early. I did force fetch earlier than all those people say, wait 1.5 years, whatever, they need to mature. I force fetched them when I had them. I don't have 1.5 years to train this dog for somebody to get her done. So I did it however I did it. And it never didn't work. My first setter, Andy, I started force fetching. She has 0 retrieve drive. 0 swimming ability. She'll go lay in a mud puddle. That's about the max swimming she'll do. If she's dying of heat, she might get her belly wet. Why fit a square peg through a round hole? So I'm like the quintessential guy who my retrievers, I expect perfection out of. My setter, as long as she comes, she doesn't know sit. She doesn't walk on a leash. She doesn't know place. She doesn't know jack, but hold birds and come when you're called. So I got her to steady to wing, shot, and fall. She'll repoint a dead bird if she feels like it, because typically she just back off and hunting and finding another bird. And so that is not great. And so as much as it has really never hindered my hunts with her, she's a straight meat dog, but she's a good one, right? Like, she steady to wing, shot, and fall. Like, as far as like going and training, she was pretty advanced in that stuff. But in the grouse woods, it never really hindered my hunt to, like, I saw it fall right there. I went and retrieved it myself. Now I see behind Jeff his beautiful fans. If she retrieved it by the butt, now my beautiful fan is toast. You're kind of just like, meh. So I was cool with just going and getting my birds myself. There was only one instance that got me, and I had knocked one down at the edge of a swamp, and it landed in the swamp, and I had to go get it. So I thought, all right, Jessie's coming up. I'm going to teach her to retrieve. So I treated her like a Labrador. We built a good bit of retrieve drive. She loves retrieve. She loves to swim. She doesn't like point much. And I don't know if that's because I built Retrieve Drive or her personality. And again, because I trained a bunch of bird dogs in the past, like I think some of them just are way more instinctual pointers than anything else. And I think Jessie just hasn't light bulbed it yet. She'll slam points in training now, but out in the grouse woods, she's just running and having fun. She doesn't know why she's there yet. She needs bird to make a bird dog. She needs contacts with grouse that kind of let us play the game, or maybe like young birds that you can reflush a few times that don't fly 150 yards away. She needs to get contacts with birds to have that light bulb. Because if you put pigeons in my field, or one of the life hacks for bird dogs that grouse hunt is put your pigeons and your traps in the woods. Then they find birds in the woods that they recognize and understand to point, and we can have that light bulb kind of click a little better in the woods. But this last hunt, it was like, dude, I'm just watching her have fun running. She seems to be, to the layman, she seems to be hunting for a bird. But to me, I think she's just frolicking in the woods, not looking too hard. So we need to have that light bulb moment for her. But with that being said, did force fetch her, took extreme amount of my time. Very, very patient. If I saw her attitude dip down, I just let it go for a couple weeks, come back and revisit it. Picked up pretty much right where we left off and just kind of phased it in. I'm a big proponent of toe hitch. These bird dogs tend to be softer and hold grudges a little bit. And so when you physically are pinching their ear, I feel like they put you and that finger and that uncomfortability all in the same thing, where toe hitch is much more hands off, and I can be very methodical with the pressure that I'm applying, and they don't resent you as much. And she did pretty good with it. It's not how I would make a Labrador and a competition Labrador at that, but it's like, you know, if you tell her fetch, she's going to get it. And if you knock a bird down, she's going to get it. And she already kind of had that natural desire compared to her mother. So it was not that difficult. But can
you explain to everybody what toe hitch is, Bob?
Yeah, sure.
And before you do that, why don't you plug your force fetch course here too? It feels like the opportune time.
Yeah, what a prime opportunity. So I did develop a course because it's one of the biggest questions I get on Instagram and YouTube and stuff is like, how do my dog drops the bird out of the water, or my dog won't pick up a bird, or, you know, after 4 retrieves it stops, or whatever the case may be, right? So force fetch is a process that is twofold. The first part is to teach the dog how to learn. It is teaching the dog compulsion. It's teaching the dog pressure and how to be successful in that situation. The second part of force fetch is the actual delivery of the bumper or bird. That's the byproduct of force fetch. So with that being said, yes, I built a course that's like step by step, and multiple different dogs and multiple different breeds with different personalities that I put through this course. I started out my entire career early on doing ear pinch. And then when I don't know, it's been a long time since I've pinched an ear. I switched to toe hitch, and they really resented me. Like, there's just no negatives to it. Other dogs, you could pinch their ear and they could care less. Bam, 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 fetch, fetch, fetch. Toe hitch, you get that same response a little bit quicker, a lot less resentment towards you and the process, and they move through it pretty seamlessly. So with that being said, you need your force fetch table. You know, it's probably 8 foot long, waist high. You get them up off the ground, and I've got a crossbar pulley system so that they can go up and down the table. And like, there's like a little, it's a pulley, right? And it just slides up and down this cord. And then you've got a chain that goes to their collar so they can walk up and down this table, but they can't get away. And then I have a piece of paracord in a slip knot that goes up their forearm. So for all these YouTube, you know, if you're not watching it on YouTube, you're doing it wrong now, everybody. So you got it around their front arm, like forearm. That's your slip knot. Then you take the piece of string and you go around this toe and this toe, loop it back through itself so that when you pull down on it, it pinches these two toes a little bit together. And as soon as that paint, I use a paint roller, as soon as that paint roller's in their mouth, the pressure's turned off immediately. Right? Now think about pinching your ear. If I pinched your ear and then I let go, don't you think your ear's going to still be a tiny bit sore? You're probably still going to feel a little bit. Where that toe, it's immediate gratification of it being turned off as well, right? Now, I'm not saying their toes might not be sore after 3 minutes of it, but it's a lot less. It's just a lot less. And so that's all you're doing. You're just applying something that's uncomfortable, pressure turned, or bumpers in their mouth, pressure turned off. Fetch, pressure's turned on, bumpers in their mouth, pressure's turned off. Good dog. That's all you're doing. And again, the whole course goes through this, but like you help them be successful. You put it in their mouth and the pressure's turned off. Then the light bulb goes off and they go, if I reach for this sucker, that pressure is going to turn off. And then they reach and they reach and they reach and they go down and they pick it up off the table. And then you overlay collar stimulation and you collar fetch. And then you take it to the ground and then they're fetching off the ground and bingo bango, you got a dog that'll deliver anything to hand. But what they're doing is learning how to learning how something that is uncomfortable, the faster I do something, the command, sit, heel, down, kennel, fetch, the faster I fetch, faster the pressure's turned off. And now he's loving on me. Uncomfortable, comfortable, and praise. And they pick it up pretty quick.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I don't know if there's anything to be said too about the fact that the pressure is a little bit further away from where you want their focus to be, right? Where if I got something in my mouth and you're going to pinch my ear, naturally you feel like they'd want to move their head, right? And now you've kind of created this other issue, right? Where you want them focused on you and looking straight ahead and focused on that bumper.
Yeah, it's just you remove yourself from the equation by using the toe hitch. It's force fetch gets a really bad. It's like e-collars and force fetch are very misunderstood and intimidating to someone who's never done it or seen it really in person. 95% of the time, it shouldn't be inflicting too much uncomfortability to the dog. 95% of the time, their attitude stays pretty good. Not going to say it's not going to dip here and there, but it's not going to stay dipped. They figure it out, and then you see them come back up. Something about life, like human life, everything that we do that's uncomfortable. Maybe you're a salesman and you knock on that door. That's you make that cold call. That is uncomfortable. Well, then you get the sale. That feels pretty good. If they learn to do things that are uncomfortable and then get rewarded, the more you can kind of push them out of their comfort zone to keep doing badass things and grow. Knocking down a bird that sails across a moving, rushing river on a duck hunt, that is uncomfortable. Retrieving that bird and getting the prize of the duck at the end, and then you're hooting and hollering and cheering, is worth the reward of that scary river. The ice cold water, that is uncomfortable. So it builds resilience and confidence in a dog. People forget that part or don't know that part. So putting them through these little processes of uncomfortability, and then they succeed, and it's a little uncomfortable, and then they succeed, builds a more resilient, hardy badass that you can take anywhere, and nothing's too scary, nothing's too tough. I can go and do it. That's pretty deep.
Yeah, it is. No, it's really good. I think
Pretty
people either, there's a fine line, right, with people pushing their dogs. They either don't push them enough or they push them too hard, and there's that delicate balance there. And Jeff, I want to say that was a really astute observation for someone who didn't force fetch their current dog, that they turn into it like that. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Every once in a while, blind squirrel, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. For a pointer guy, that's
good.
great. That was really
A pointer that doesn't have much of a retrieve drive either. Kind of like Andy.
Andy, she's the best.
She retrieves when she wants to. That's about it. But again, it hasn't bit me in the butt at all. She'll usually go run up to it, and I just walk up and grab it. So it's usually not a problem. But
yeah, and again, I look at it like, what's your goal? If that makes you happy, then I'm happy too.
Right, for sure. Yep. That's expectations, right? If
you're pissed off that it didn't bring you the duck back, I've got a solution for you.
Yep.
Check out my course.
Yep.
If you're thrilled that that dog dropped the duck at the bank and you had to throw 10 rocks to get there and you're level 10 pumped, I'm pumped for you. If you want to be better than that, we can do it. That dog can do it. And to Tyler's point, some people don't push their dogs. Some people push them too much. And at the rate that they push them, it may be young and not mature enough to be taking on these challenges that they're putting them in. And that's the art of dog training, not the science. That's the finesse of our game, not, read this book and go train that dog. It's, well, what happens when this happens? Well, how does it look? What's its body language telling me? Things like that.
Bingo. Yes. Because inevitably there's going to be things that pop up and you got to solve problems. And the art of dog training, clip that one, put it on social media. That was great.
Yeah, baby.
That was awesome. I do want to flip the script a little bit though, too, right? We talked a lot about setters. I'm really curious about that. Flip it over back to labs and to start with, like, transitioning hunt test dogs from hunt test season into hunting season, right? And like, what is your philosophy on that, right? I mean, Matt and I both hunt. We've run hunt tests. When we go hunt. Matt does more hunting than I do, more successful hunting than I do.
I'd agree with that.
Yep. But like, right, there's people that their dog won't take the dog hunting until they have a master hunter title on them. How do you flip that? How does the training flip there? And how do you get them to compartmentalize the difference?
It's a really good question, and that's a line that we all dance that's difficult. We can train dogs to an extremely high level. We can't train them for real life and what can happen on a real duck hunt. And that can it's kind of like grouse hunting analogy with Jesse. Some point light bulbs are going to click on the grouse. You can train a bad mofo that can run a 300-yard blind, but when a cripple crawls up into the cattails and is, it's a wood duck that does the old alligator through the swamp and it's got to track that bird, that is a life experience that you can't teach in training. Not can't, but it's just not real life. So dancing that edge between hunting and hunt testing is tough. I am a proponent because you asked me how many dogs do I own? Well, I own a boatload. So I can be patient and train a dog to the caliber that I want to take hunting. I don't want to take a dog that can't run a blind on a hunt. It's not fun for me to watch a duck go that way, and I can't get them to go that way. So I do wait until they are pretty much at that master level to take them. But that's because I got older dogs that I can take. With the average person who has one dog, I'm going to make sure that all my prerequisites are in before I take them. They've got to be super well-rounded with gunfire. They've got to be OB and steady. They've got to listen and have a good recall. So if you let's say we're hunting Lake Michigan and we knock down a bluebill and it's crippled, that's probably not getting got by a dog. It's going to dive. It's going to be 70 yards away by the dog even gets to the place where the mark was. It's just not realistic. You probably need to get the boat and go get that duck, or else you're going to lose your dog in the center of the lake. I don't know where I was going with that. That was a real life scenario that just popped in my head of just life experience. Go get the boat. But again, I want that dog to come when it's called. So again, yeah, that's where I was going with it. So if it's in that predicament, you need to be able to recall it and it's going to listen. Good with gunfire, obedient and steady. And it has to have had opportunities to have ducks in training. Not everybody has 3 chest freezers of ducks in their garage like I do, but you need to put your dog in a position where its first duck hunt isn't the first time it sees a bird. Mm-hmm. Or you may have a negative situation. Hen mallards that are crippled are quacking and squawking like crazy. Well, you take a young puppy that's typically piss and vinegar, and it's trying to get a hen mallard that's intimidating to it, and it balks at it and bounces away and is now running hightail back to you, you just made a negative experience instead of a positive experience. So put them in situations that you're going to see on the hunt. First time in an A-frame shouldn't be day one duck season. First time on a dog stand. First time hearing a duck call for 30 minutes while you're watching them all circle. You know, you've got to, first time they see a mojo. All those things should have been taught before they go on their first duck season. So you need to make sure that that is done so that you're putting the dog in a position of success. If you've checked those boxes and you feel confident that the hunting scenario is going to be good for the dog, now the other thing that I tell people is once you own the dog and you take it on the hunt, you are now the dog man. You're not the duck hunter. Duck hunting is the byproduct. The number one rule or responsibility you have is making sure that the dog is successful and your buddies are having fun too. You don't want to be the a-hole yelling at the dog. You don't want to own the dog that you've got to yell at. And so set the dog up, yourself up, and your buddies for success. But to the point of like hunt test and hunting dogs, I don't think you have to wait till it's a master hunter like I want to do to be able to take it hunting. But I think those are the prerequisites before I take a dog hunting. They need to be steady. They need to be obedient. They need to come when they're called. And they need to have had a bunch of gunfire stuff going on, as well as some bird introduction where they're comfortable with a cripple. They're comfortable picking up ducks and bringing them to you, and decoys and stuff like that.
Now, outside of your kennel and your training program, Bob, do you feel that most people typically bring their dogs hunting too early or too late? I mean, I don't know if too late's really a thing, but what do you see typically?
I think too early is more often than not, right? You know, I'm a bust chops, but like the knucklehead who sends me a picture of a 4-month-old in the duck blind is just that, a knucklehead. You're not putting that puppy in a position of success, only potential failure. And maybe it does well, but what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't? Now you've got a gun shy dog that you can't ever take. If they're afraid of guns, you don't have a gun dog. So I think you just need, if you can hit those prereqs, which is pretty easy to do by the time they're 8, 9, 10 months old, you know, by 10 months old, you should have a puppy that listens pretty dang good, is pretty dang steady, is been around enough gunfire, and you only take 1 or 2 buddies out there shooting. You run the dog, they shoot the birds, and it can hunt. And then every bird that it retrieves is that life experience that's going to make it that successful meat dog, right? It's going to learn how to dig out cripples in the cattails. It's going to learn how to dive for a cripple that's swimming and diving down and popping up 10 yards that way. So I think it's a positive. It's just like Jesse and the grouse. The more ducks you kill over that dog, the more life experiences it's going to gather in its little Rolodex of life information, and the better it'll be as a duck dog. I do like to have them a little more balanced. To answer Tyler's question, between dancing the line between hunt tests and hunting season and like transitioning my training, well, let me get back to that for a second. But I'll get people that call me and be like, I don't want them ribbons. I just want a duck dog. Like, sweet. It's the same process. I'm still doing everything the same from 6 months old to a year old, whether you want a ribbon or you want a great duck dog. Collar conditioning, formal obedience, force fetch, long singles, simple doubles, land and water, decoys, boats, blinds, gunfire, live birds, dead birds. That's what you're getting. Get in and out of canoes, get in and out of my boat, get in and out of ground blinds, dog stands, etc. And then if you want ribbons, we just elevate our standards to an even higher standard and keep on rocking and rolling. Transitioning the dogs that compete to get ready for duck season, typically, like I was saying, August, September timeframe is when we're really pre-seasoning it. So I still have dogs that are competing at that time frame. So maybe 1 day a week we're duck dogging, you know, blowing duck calls, shooting guns at the line, dog stands, ground blinds, hooting and hollering, high-fiving each other while they sit on dog stands, and we're doing all that stuff. The dogs that are kind of getting close to being done competing or are just here for a tune-up, that's all they're getting. they're getting, and what I'll do is I'll vary the distances of the marks. So I want them to stay confident and bold and badass on the 150-yard mark, but I also want them to stay steady at the 15-yard mark that splashes in their face. So instead of, maybe at the hunt test stuff, I'm stretching them out more and building, true marking setups where I'm teaching marking and honing marking. This is more like, go the distance, but also stay steady for the in-your-face action. We're adding more decoys, definitely more distractions and stuff at the line where we're like walking around and throwing decoys out into the field or into the pond and then throwing a mark. Pull out a layout blind and hunt out, train out of the layout blind with them. I usually save a few geese and throw geese in the mix. Trying to think what else we do. Oh, we do a hunt 'em ups. So sometimes, like even a dog that can run a blind, I don't know where that duck landed or where that cripple got up into. So I could, in essence, cast them to that general vicinity, but then I got to let them go and they've got to use their nose. So I teach them how to use their nose with like a hunt 'em up deal where we'll go throw 4 or 5 marks and then pull them off the dog stand. And behind us, we've hidden 2 or 3 ducks in the nasty stuff and tell them hunt them up and get them on the good side of the wind. And they've got to just go in there and find them. And so, that's the more advanced. We'll teach it in easier cover and, separate it from the marks and stuff like that. But you want a real versatile, throw anything at them and they should be able to find a duck and make you a successful duck hunter. Does that answer the question of balancing it? So I'm very strict. I'm very strict competitive from January till probably mid-August. And then depending on if they go home like September 1st for goose season, then it'll be August 1st. If they aren't going home till October 1st, then I'll probably that last month of September is just going to be straight duck dogging.
That's good. I think it answers it for me, Matt. Did it answer for you?
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to ask though. So real quick. So you said you saved some geese, and I just had my dog pick up her first goose. She's 7. I don't kill a lot of geese. What do you do? The difference between a paint roller or a wood duck on a table versus a giant Canada goose is quite different. What do you do to get those even younger or older dogs used to picking up and dragging a goose around?
Yeah, I know they're kind of expensive, but I would buy one of the Doken goose decoys because that's a nice bridge
to
get them comfortable with it. Something bigger and it's not flopping or giant wings. And then really you just play with it.
Yeah.
You don't, like, even if they're force fetched, I'm not putting the F word to it. I want it to be fun and not intimidating. And so in essence, I'm grabbing it by a wing, dragging it on the ground, teasing them with it. And when they're like clacking their jaws trying to grab it, I toss it. If they go and try to pick it up, I'm really encouraging them. If they do pick it up, I'm moving away from them and asking them to carry it as long as possible. I'm not asking them to bring it 10 feet and then take it from them. I'm asking them to now pick it up 10 feet away from me or however far I can throw a Canada goose. And then I'm going to back up. Good dog. I'm like jogging backwards, like hooting and hollering. So they get comfortable tripping over a wing and re-gripping it. Maybe even, I don't care if they grab it by the head or grab it by a wing. That's a first step. That's great. Now tease them, toss it again. And so I'm going to slowly build to the point where they figure out how to grip a goose. If they do not want to grip it at all, if they just don't want to do it, that's when I'm going to continue teasing, continue tossing, continue teasing, continue tossing. I'm not going to let them stand over it for a minute, balking at it. I'm going to run up there, tease them, toss. And so that fast-paced energy that I'm bringing to the moment, and again, they've already had a ton of mallard ducks in their life. At some point, that ability to just be like, screw it, I'm going to bite onto this thing. And then they just won the Super Bowl. I'm so proud of them. And then once I get them going pretty good with that, then my bird boy is going to grab it, go out 30 yards, throw it like a mark, send them, they pick it up, bingo, bango, bud.
Sure.
But make it fun.
Yeah.
And then on your first goose hunt, don't send them on the cripple. Kill the bird, make sure it's not flopping anymore, and send them. After they get several under their belt, then let them go see if they can sack it.
We were joking last night.
That was a great segue. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this. I saw this video on, I think it was on Facebook. I was on Facebook or Instagram. I sent it to Jeff, man. I was like, oh, should we ask Bob about this? And there's a crippled goose standing in a cornfield.
Very alive. Only a broken wing. Wasn't moving though.
Yeah. Yep. And the person sends their dog out there and they're like circling each other. And it's a young dog, I would say. Would you agree, Matt?
Barking at it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, this is to be continued. It's like, that was really dumb. That dog is probably going to be ruined for life.
Probably not ruined for life, but you're going to have a harder time than you needed to have, right? If everybody thinks about success, what is going to make that dog successful? Is this going to go well or not well, or you're not sure? If it's not going to go well, potentially, or you're not sure, don't do it. They need to be built upon successful life experiences over and over and over and over again. And then we can kind of test them, if that makes sense, right? Like, I don't want to see if my dog can do this blind, or see if my dog can get that duck, or see if it can go that far on a mark, or see if it can tackle that live goose, even though it's never seen one before. You're wondering what, or see if it's gun shy. It's probably not going to go great. It might, but if it doesn't, we're in trouble, and we got a lot of backstepping to do and fixings to do.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's good. All right, I gotta ask you a question, a handler question here.
All right,
hunting handler question. So I had my young dog out her first official duck hunt, right, with birds, where we actually killed birds last week with Jeff. We were in his boat, right, and we had a flock of woodies come in. We dropped 3 of them there. And we were inside Jeff's blind, right? And I sent her on one bird, and then she comes back, and she's got to jump on the hull, and there's like a spot where she can jump up there, right? I did not get out of the boat to then line her up and send her. And she kicked off in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
How dumb of a handler move was that? As opposed to getting her out and lining her up and doing it properly.
It's not that dumb. I probably would have done it too, dude. And then be like, shit. Hop back out. Come here. Kick him loose. Throw a rock. Cast him. Whatever. Yeah. Depending on the skill.
I just casted her to it. I just blew the whistle.
I was gonna say, like, Tyler, you're probably not giving yourself enough credit. I mean, she's what, 3? She's got her season title, running, finished level type set. Like, this is no slouch. Like, she's not just a puppy. He should be able to handle her from. Yeah. So,
well, I'll give you one.
How dumb am
I? I went on. It was opening day last weekend here in New York. We knocked down 3 birds, all in the same pocket. Where they were cupped up and we were killing them was the same pocket. The 4th duck was a wood duck that got shot and then immediately hightailed it into the cover. She did not see that one get shot. She heard the shot. She didn't see it fall. Nothing. She's looking in never land. And it was a wood duck. You know how they bomb in and you're just like, she didn't see it. I send her. This master hunter. Poof, gone. Right to where all the other birds had landed 20 yards away from where this one landed. And I saw it go this way. I'm like, shit. All right. So I got out of the blind, blew the whistle, gave this cast. She went that way. I'm like, okay. Tweet. No, over here. She went that way again because that's where the other 3 had landed. Hauled her in a little bit. Cast her back over. But now at this point, it's been 35 seconds on a crippled wood duck. That could be 20 yards into the cattails now. So now I'd practiced my hunt them up. I got out, I got with her, and we weren't like that close together, but she was now in the zone. And then I just kind of waited and she found it. But yeah, that was a dumb hand. I didn't even look down to see if she was looking at the bird. I just said her name, like, nice shot, dude. Whoa, prairie. Shoot. So yeah, but that's the point I made earlier. Like, I can't manufacture that in training. Mm-hmm. All you can do is try to help her be successful instead of getting ticked off that she took wrong casts and get on the e-collar and all that dumb stuff. It was just like, all right, I'm just gonna get out of the blind, help her out, got her over there, and then let her do her duck dog thing, and she crushed it. I was proud of her. I wouldn't have found that duck.
Right.
So it worked out, but yeah, I did the same thing. It's all good, man.
All right. That's good. That makes me feel better. Thanks for making me feel better, Bob.
You're welcome.
Because I could do an entire podcast on all the mistakes that I made on that hunt.
That would be a fun one. Yeah.
But she picked up 7 ducks on her first duck hunt. That was pretty good.
It was good. We were splashed a lot of them, and that helped.
You want to hear Perry's first duck hunt?
It was her first hunt. Yeah.
All right. So we're hunting a local lake in my new boat, the El Bandito.
I got to name my boat. I got to find something.
Yeah, you do.
That sounds so badass.
The El Bandito. First duck, first light, boom, rolled it. Belly up, Drake Mallard, 10 yards away in the decoys. This is her first hunt. She's a master hunter. First duck hunt. Right there. Kicking, orange feet. And what do we see on that orange foot? Bling. I'm like, holy shit, her first duck, it's banded. We're all fired up. She jumps in the water, spins 3 circles, and start coming back to me. What? Beep back. Still coming back to me. Get her back on the boat. Sit. Good. Get your mark. Good. Right there. Prairie. Boom. Jumps in. Picks it up finally that time. And came back. And never again has she. Well, she's done dumb things, but that was pretty dumb. I mean, it was 5 feet from her. And she just was like, whoa, there am I. So anything can happen. I don't care what title it's got on it. On its first duck hunt, it's still new to them. And you have to be humble enough to just let it go. There's a real famous dog trainer from the 80s and 90s. His name was Rex Carr. And he said, a man's ego is a large burden for a dog to bear. Something to that effect.
That's
you can
great.
Google it. And so if you let your ego get in the way of this son of a gun, how'd it back burn? Could have been easy for me to do that. But she just needed to learn. And then we knocked a few more down in and outside the decoys. She marked them good, went and did it. We were proud of her after that. And we had a banded Drake Mallard in the boat. Like, pretty sweet first hunt, but I could have let it ruin my day.
Now I'll ask for you, Tyler. So Bob, in my boat, we don't have a dog door.
Okay.
No.
And so this was Ren's first hunt, 3 years old, first duck hunt. She was essentially just running blinds. Like, so how important, and a lot of young dogs aren't going to be able to do that, right? So how important is that dog can see these birds while you're hunting?
Jeff, you answer that question for me. Set them up for success.
Correct. Yep.
Right. You got it. I mean, even Tyler, set them up for success. So maybe you personally, I would cut a hole in the blind and have like a Velcro or like a tab where you could like fold it back down, but they can poke their head out. But you got to set them up for success where they can see those birds fall. If not, well, especially let's say your dog is advanced. So gunfire wasn't that bad. But let's say it's your 9-month-old puppy who only knows gunfire in a training environment, and 3 dudes stand up in a boat and it can't see anything, and bang, 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 which in a blind in an aluminum boat is extra loud. I don't know what just happened, but the world just got shot out of the sky. Right? Mm-hmm. So you could make a gun to shy dog just like that. But you want to set them up for success. Every hunt, you're trying to put them in a position of success. And then when they get in a predicament that's very difficult, they'll feel confident enough to go give it a whirl when they don't see it fall or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I get it. My boat, you got to kind of finagle my boat the same way it sounds like yours is, but I've figured out a way to like fold the piece in and that dog's head can be out, and then they out the boat, and I don't have a good way to get them back in. I just grab them by the collar and lift them up, but they got to see the birds fall to be the most successful possible.
Luckily she figured out a way to stick her head out of the edge of the boat cover that went over the front.
Yeah. They get smart.
She heard the gunshot, she'd poke her head out, and big splash makes it real nice and
heck yeah,
easy and evident.
I mean, I think that it depends on how much you're going to hunt off Jeff's boat and how much you want to monkey with his blind. But I would figure out a way where she can be in a position where you could just give her like a nook, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, depends. I mean, Jeff, upland season starting. So Jeff has built his own duck boat, but he's about to put it away for the year in the season. So,
I use it a few times, but
yeah, right.
he's gonna have to buy himself a doggy door for my beaver tail blind and learn how to
That's
sew.
what it sounds like.
My wife suggested that actually. She
There you
said,
go.
"Pay for it." So let's go.
That's awesome.
Giddy up. Giddy up.
No, I think it's just about success.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Good question, though.
Yeah. All right. Last one that I have on this whole topic here, and we've been rolling for over an hour already because time flies.
Yeah.
From your perspective, right? What is the skill that erodes the most over duck season for a dog that's been trained?
Steadiness. That's the first one that jumps out at my head, off the top of my head. I think if they run blinds, I think blinds can deteriorate a little bit because they become more hunty and trust themselves a lot more than they need to trust you. But again, we kind of talked about that hunt test versus hunting dog. I think that line that you're dancing, they need to be pretty independent come hunting season. And they need to be able to be casted and be under control with that ounce of like, if you think it's over there, I'm going to trust you for a little bit. Let them hunt. So I do think blinds, and I also think people handle their dogs too much, where because the dog can run a blind, they handle more than they need to. And therefore, when you get back into training season, dogs will pop on marks and pop on blinds. Pop, if anyone doesn't know what a pop is, it's when the dog goes out for a mark or running a blind and they stop prematurely because they are looking for direction from you because they're not sure of themselves anymore. And so if you overhandle come duck season because the dog can, then you might deteriorate some marking ability and or confidence on their marks. But I would say steadiness is probably one of the most common, where they're pitter patter and more. I mean, that's probably the big one.
That's good. All right, Jeff, Matt, what do you guys got?
You sound like you're dying, Tyler.
I am dying. I do not sound good. I know.
The medicine must be wearing off on that cold there, buddy.
I'm running out of liquids here. That's the problem too.
You need to drink a couple beers like me and Bob here.
Yeah, you'll be fine, bud. You clearly don't drink enough. I got
No.
immune system.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah. You want to roll into rapid fire, guys?
Sure,
Gentlemen?
let's do it.
Or as are we calling it pass shooting or are we calling it sky blasting? Which one?
No, we're going with sky blasting. We got to stick with
Yeah,
it. Tried and true. Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
All right. Who wants to go first?
Matthew?
Sure. You said your new boat. What do you run for a boat these days in New York?
I've got a 21-foot. It's called an all weld. It's a V in the front, but it's a flat bottom. It's got it's a side console, but back further. I don't know what to call that. And 90 horse Yamaha. The thing rips. I can water ski behind it. You talk about a redneck, you pull your duck boat out and go water skiing behind it. You're a bad one. Okay?
I've water skied behind a bass boat, but never a duck boat.
Yeah, I'm a real redneck. Yeah, so it's got a makeshift blind on it. It was made for a different boat and modified, and that will be. I'm every duck season. I say I'm gonna, in the summer, build or buy a new one. It's a pain in the butt to run the blind on it because it doesn't really fit with the throttle, and so it's kind of a pain. But it hides us well. It's a big boat. Originally, we had first duck boat I ever had was a 16-foot V bottom with a 25 horse tiller, and we could hunt 3 people and a dog, and it was snug. And so as my business grew, as things changed, I had to bring clients or more buddies, and my dad and brother would get left behind. And part of why we got into this is me, my dad, and my brother, and so to be able to fit 4 guys comfortably and a dog or 2 was like the main goal for buying this boat, and it rules. I mean, like I said, in the summertime we can fish off of it. The kids can tube behind. You know, I don't have kids, but my nieces and nephews can tube behind it. And then you throw the duck blind on and go kill you some ducks.
Awesome.
Matt's looking at his chops over there.
Yeah, for sure. Love a good duck boat. Obviously, you're traveling to train and you're very busy. Do you have any planned hunts, like out of state, anything where you will take 2-3 days that you're going to be gone?
Yeah. So last year, as Jeff mentioned, last year was the year of Bob. I went to Saskatchewan, North Dakota, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Well, so Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, Missouri. That might have been it. But I hunted a ton last year. And I booked with another dog training friend of mine an elk hunt. I've always wanted to go elk hunting. I've never done it before. Kind of one of those, like, as you're a kid reading American Hunter magazines and you see these people like horseback riding and sleeping in tents. So I've been pinching pennies and, you know, stowing some cash away when you get a litter of puppies or whatever. And so we booked an elk hunt in British Columbia, Canada, for a 10-day horseback. So this year I'm not doing as much traveling.
Gotcha.
I did the 3-day grouse hunt last week, early October, here in New York. I'm going on a deer hunt with a college buddy in Missouri for whitetail in November, and then the rest will be just local hunts. I don't think I got anything else planned.
Sure.
I'd be happy to, you know, come grouse hunt in Wisconsin.
Hey man, just give me a call. I'm game.
Drop me a pin. Drop me a pin.
I got a couple of them.
There you go.
We'll stay in touch on that.
Yeah, I love it.
That's all I had.
All right, I'll go next. Mine are kind of food related, Tyler, so I'm sorry if I steal one of yours. I know you always got food stuff. Kind of Wisconsin themed a little bit here because we were talking about that trip. Do you have a favorite type of cheese?
Oh, I like a smoked Gouda with summer sausage and a wheat thin.
Little charcuterie board there.
Charcuterie board. Now I'll tell you what, that is a great hunt test snack and or like midday 11 a.m. grouse hunt tailgate.
Nice.
Cut you a little bit of that, rock and roll. But I also enjoy they're not spicy, like a hot and sweet or whatever cheese curd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like the little red pepper flakes on it where your hands are a little red after.
Okay.
I could crush a whole bag of that.
You get down with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did you try any? I know you mentioned Spotted Cow. Did you try any other local craft beers in your time in Wisconsin?
Definitely. I don't have that answer. Yeah. That's
anything that stands out?
Not that I can remember other than Spotted Cow, because everybody that talks about Wisconsin beer says Spotted Cow. So that was a little cliche of me to just throw that one out there. But one of my favorite things to do when I travel is to either hit up a brewery or, you know, you go into a gas station or, you know, beer dispenser place and, you know, I love an IPA. I'm a big Busch Light guy, but I do enjoy trying like local IPAs. So I'll go into, you know, I was in Maine for a field trial. I went into one and I bought a couple different IPA 4-packs and brought them home for me and my brother, and just like trying all different kinds. And so I don't end up normally remembering any of them other than they're delicious. Awesome. So I know I did. Like out of my mind, I did.
Perfect. All right. Favorite.
Do you have any that you like?
Oh, I got all kinds of them. I'm always drinking different kinds. I'm a big Oktoberfest guy.
Okay.
So I like to try all the different Oktoberfests every year. This one is called MC Hammerschlagen.
Oh, that's a great name.
Yeah. Matt, I think this is from your hometown. Isn't it Eagle Park Brewing?
Yeah.
Muskego,
Yeah,
Wisconsin.
like
yeah.
2 minutes from my dad's house.
So I, like you, Bob, I like to buy all the different local stuff. And usually this time of year, I'm drinking Oktoberfests, or I like hazies too. I like to try those, but yeah, I like all the craft stuff.
Yeah, I enjoy just going to a new place and walking in and trying some. Like traveling out west one time, I stopped in not Laramie. Is it Laramie, Wyoming? What's the other one in Wyoming?
Sounds right.
Yeah, I know Laramie in Wyoming, but what's the other big city in Wyoming.
Oh man, I'm terrible at geography.
It's wherever the Wyoming college is.
Okay.
So I pull my dog truck in there, get a bite to eat at the oldest bar in Wyoming. There were bullet holes from the old shootouts from the Cowboys in the back of the bar, which was pretty cool. Old, pronghorns and stuff, really neat. And I'm walking back to the dog truck, and there's a little brewery, like a college town brewery. I'm like, guess I got to go in there. Checked it out. Just that's something I enjoy doing. Like if you're gonna go somewhere new, you got to eat their food and drink a beer in their hometown and just take it all in.
Yeah, I love that. All right, my last one. Favorite way to prepare ruffed grouse?
Probably like a chicken tender almost, which is really lame. I'll be honest with you. Some ruffed grouse taste delicious. Some ruffed grouse don't taste delicious, and you don't know until you eat. And so some of them I've had where I've done it like you just kind of pound them down a little bit, like what are they called?
Tenderizer.
Yeah, we call them something, whatever, like a chicken parm, where you really like tenderize and pound them down and then lightly bread them and just flash fry them. I like to do that. I like to marinate them and put them on the grill like a chicken breast.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them you gotta kind of marinate more than I feel like you need to, and you don't know until you start eating it that it was like, ooh, this one's pretty dang grousey. Other ones are like a beautiful piece of meat. So that's my 2 cents. Have you ever found that where one's like, this sucker's been eating some pine needles or something?
I don't know if I have yet, but I definitely with pheasants and things like that, other upland birds, you'll find that. And, I think a lot of that depends on how they die, right? How stressed out they were. If you wounded one and the dog was chasing it, I think that tends to affect the tenderness and the taste too.
Yeah. Oh, I've done one with like a mushroom sauce too that came out good over like a bed of eggshell noodles. Those. Okay. That was pretty good.
Yeah, like it seems like with the ruffed grouse, basically any way you can prepare chicken, right? Is a go-to. So yeah, cool. All right, that's all I got. Tyler.
All right. Not many here, just a few. So Bob, what is your grouse gun of choice?
I have a 16 gauge Ithaca side by side that was gifted to me by the guy I got one of the prize one NAVDA dogs. So that thing is from the 1940s, and when he gifted it to me, it was all rusty and nasty. And he's like, I don't know if you can salvage this thing, take it to a gunsmith, see if it's shootable, but I've let it go to shit. And I did, and they cleaned it up, and it's a dream, man. It takes you back to what you should be shooting in the grouse woods.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right, your duck blind snack of choice.
The white bag of chocolate donuts, like the little baby circle Hostess. Yeah, that's one.
Like the chalk all over them, basically.
yeah. Your mouth is kind of waxy after you eat it. I like those. And then honestly, I know this is a little mama's boy type of thing, but this time of year, my mom will make a bunch of like zucchini bread, pumpkin bread, apple bread, and she'll make a loaf and like send it with my dad. And, nothing beats a hot piping cup of black coffee. And you just like break off a hunk of that. That's pretty delicious. So shout out to my mom. I'm 38 years old. Still love that stuff.
Good job, Mom.
Yeah. Excellent. Love the mom shout outs here. Yeah. Did not think we were going to get one of those. All right. So in your time in the Midwest, did you happen to stop at a Quick Trip? Like a pretty well-known gas station. Lots of them around here.
Yeah.
Okay. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm going to go thumbs up. Have you ever heard of a Wawa?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I would kind of equate it to something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. They're pretty good. Quick Trip.
Right. Excellent.
That's a throwback.
That is a throwback.
What did I say a long time ago, Tyler? If they sold underwear, you wouldn't need to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
And then we
Yes.
found out afterwards they messaged us that they do sell underwear.
That rules.
Awesome. Yeah. They crush on social media. Anyway, not about Quick Trip though. A last one though. So when are you coming back to Wisconsin to hunt again? I think that's the real question.
As I alluded to, the elk hunt,
Yeah.
that's probably going to be my like financially like my main thing for next year, dude. And being gone from my business and life for 10 days, I'm probably not going to make it back this year or next year, but I enjoyed it so much that I really would put it on the docket. And my thought process would be to do like that crazy man road trip where you drive from New York, hit the UP, come back through Wisconsin and go back through Minnesota. And whether I continue on to go west or just shut it down after that. But Wisconsin was like a, Jeff, I think you might appreciate this the most as a grouse hunter. Like you don't know what you're walking into. I felt more proud of myself going to no man's land, Wisconsin, that nobody told me about, where there was nothing around and you just drive and you're like, that's a hotel. Like I can stay there and I'll hunt tomorrow. And like just by e-scouting and doing the best I could, e-scouting and finding public land and then just to be successful, like that was probably one of the coolest solo trips that I think I killed like 5 or 6 birds in Wisconsin over a 3-4 day period where I hadn't had that experience by myself. You know, you always got a buddy that might throw his 2 cents in, or you go duck hunt and everybody's got their, oh, let's put the decoys like this. Let's go to that boat ramp. Everybody's got their 2 cents. Nobody told me where to go. And to push a cover with your own dogs in a place you've never been and find grouse was a really, really rewarding experience. And I mean, I floundered day one. I mean, it was not like New York. We kind of talked about that earlier. And so I would love to come back. I would love to have the knowledge from the last trip. I'd love to hit some of those covers again and see if I'm still right, because covers change, years change, moisture changes, everything changes. And then I'd like to expand the search, right? Like I only hit a tiny little corridor, maybe 3 different counties. I don't want to give it all away, but I was kind of western of the state and started central western and then continued moving north closer to Minnesota, if you will. Mm-hmm. And the further north I continued to get, the more remote I got and the better the grouse was. So yeah, dude, it's one of those places where it's not like I don't want to go back. I would love to come back to Wisconsin.
Excellent. Keep us posted on those plans for several years out. I'm sure it'll change.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for our Sky Blast question. So before we wrap it up here and I hit the stop recording button, Bob, go ahead and plug whatever you want to plug. You did the Force Fetch course, plug your social media handles, anything else you got coming up. Anything, this is your time here.
Yeah, thanks. First off, I just want to thank you guys again for having me back on. Everybody who's tuned in thus far and hasn't clicked somebody else's podcast, thanks for staying with us. I appreciate you. Again, Bob Owens, my company's called Lone Duck Outfitters and Kennels. You can find me on Instagram. It's at Lone Duck, LONEDUCK. If you type Lone Duck in on YouTube, I've got 300 some videos on there where I'm coaching you to coach your dog. We've got a podcast. It's called Lone Duck's Gundog Chronicles. We bust them out weekly, and again, really enjoy sharing knowledge. Have a bunch of guests on that, are some of the best dog trainers in the country, just sharing their experiences and knowledge with you guys, so you can continue to better yourselves and better your dogs. We talked about the Force Fetch course, so I won't bring that up as in nauseum, but I'm really excited. I've been working on it for a long, long time. Pre Freddie King having one, pre Cornerstone, pre anybody having a course. Like as I was coming up in the ranks, I wanted to build something to where people could train their own dog. And so it's finally hitting the old interwebs, probably November, like hopefully in time for like Black Friday type of deal. But it's going to be called Zero to Duck Dog, and it's going to be a compilation of the YouTube videos plus never before seen videos to take, you know, whether you don't have a dog yet, it's going to educate you on what you're looking for on pedigree and health clearances. If you know, then 8-week-old puppy and what we're doing in the house, all the way through to first duck season. So basically 8 weeks to 12 months, what you need to be doing with that dog to get it prepared so that you and your dog are successful in the first season. And then shortly after that, we've got it all kind of laid out for our advanced dog work. So if you want to learn T pattern and swim by and run blinds, that's going to launch probably the beginning of the year. That's all filmed and pretty much ready to rock too. So, you know, it'll be, I'm the last one to the game. There's a bunch of other online programs that you can get, but it's going to be at an affordable price, and it's going to teach you, it's going to be a lot of information, more than what's out there. So I'm really excited about it. So that, again, education and entertainment, that's what I try and provide. I don't want to be boring for you to listen to or watch, and I want you to gain something so that you and your dog can be successful. So just stay tuned. If you want to, if like that interests you, you can follow me on Instagram, and obviously we'll be pumping that out, and then the podcast will be pumping it out and giving people the heads up when it hits.
And you should absolutely do that, because there's a lot of courses out there now. Everybody's got them. There's only a couple that I would buy. Bob, I would buy yours. So
thanks, man. Appreciate that.
And on that note, that's it for this week. If you made it this far, we do appreciate you tuning in and listening in. If you have 10 seconds, leave us a quick review. Otherwise, we'll be back next week with another episode. Peace out, everybody.